Hey guys, and welcome back to another Brit's Brew video. I'm in the car again because this is really the only place that I know I can think clearly, no distractions, and it's actually a rainy day today, overcast. I have myself not my typical iced coffee. I got a hot matcha tea latte, which is perfect for this weather, and I've just been sitting here thinking how I wanted to start this video and exactly what I wanted to talk about. I have an idea, but you guys know me. I've already told you that when it comes to these videos, I just want to be able to speak freely and just say whatever is on my mind. So I actually want to talk more about therapy in itself, and I actually had my first therapy appointment a couple weeks ago. And let's actually go back to the beginning. So I had taken a break from therapy, and I know I've been very open about when I did go to therapy and the EMDR therapy that I did as well, which I've gotten so many questions about. I'm actually going to work on a reel on Instagram kind of explaining more about what it is and how it's helped me. I feel like I could just go on and on and on about it, and I don't want to turn this video just about EMDR therapy. So it's been a while since I've been in therapy, and I can't even tell you a reason why I stopped to begin with. I think I made the mistake or thought that I had worked through a lot of things, which I had made a lot of improvements with different things that have happened in my past, and I thought I was totally fine from that. I could take it on myself, which I did very well. I stayed on track with my goals, my personal goals, my personal mental goals. But as always, sometimes when you're doing really good, something comes up that almost knocks you back down, which is recently what happened to me. I have mentioned it here and there, but I haven't really opened up about it, which is why I love these videos. It's definitely an outlet for me. But I have definitely been struggling with many things recently in the past month, and is what prompted me to go back to therapy. So before I get into that, or I guess talk about that, still don't know how much I want to talk about yet. I will say, going back to therapy for the first time, I think even just any time for me, especially when I first originally went, my first ever therapy appointment, it's definitely nerve-wracking. There's definitely a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety going back. I was already feeling really heavy and already struggling with certain things. So it's just hard for me to be open about my feelings because I never grew up or was taught to talk about my feelings. I was kind of programmed and kind of learned on my own just to shove everything deep down inside and just shove it down and not deal with it, just leave it there. But eventually, as I've learned many times, it's always going to come out. It's just always going to come out somehow if you don't truly work on those emotions. And in my case, I become very reclusive. I become very standoffish whenever I'm going through something, and that's something that I need to work on. So for me, it is really hard to open up and talk about certain things that I am going through because I was not programmed that way. And going and talking to, even though I know my therapist, I really like my therapist, I trust her, she has helped me immensely with so many different things, it is still hard and uncomfortable for me to talk to somebody about what I'm feeling. Like, even talking about it, I get very anxious. Like, my chest gets kind of tight, my heart starts beating really fast, and of course I get a text message that completely throws off my train of thought. Take a sip of my tea really quick. So I understand that feeling because I know a lot of times people can have a lot of anxiety with going to a therapist. It's a very big step, very big step, and it's very intimidating, very vulnerable. I get that 100%, and not that I'm necessarily pushing myself, but I'm telling myself that if I want to work through these things and also seek professional advice, which is totally fine too. Sometimes we just need to hear it from many different people. You know, I vent to Frank, I vent to my friends, but sometimes I need to hear exactly what is going to benefit me from a professional standpoint. And I know not all the times professionals or therapists are going to give you the right advice, but I have a really good relationship with my therapist and I trust her a lot. And anytime she has walked me through things that I was processing or explaining to me why I was feeling this way, like basically breaking it down, she's always been super spot on. And that's why I really don't feel comfortable going to anybody else. I only go to her. That's why you have to have a really good relationship with your therapist. I definitely recommend going and finding different therapists until you feel like there's that one, like you feel comfortable with them. So anyways, I've been dealing with a lot of personal family stuff and a lot of things that have come up from the past and things that I didn't realize I still needed to work on. And of course, things that happened recently as well. Like I said, you think you're doing so good mentally, but anytime you could just be knocked right back down and forced to, or not forced to, in my case that I used to, but now I can acknowledge that and look at that and be like, no, Brittany, that's not healthy. I have like the self-awareness now. So I knew I had to go and work this out, because if not, it was just gonna be more detrimental to my health, my mental health. So I will say my appointment back to therapy went really, really well. I actually have since then have had another therapy appointment, so I feel like I still had to do a lot of work with EMDR therapy. It's a psychotherapy, but if you look into it, there's many benefits to it, but I felt like I needed another session sooner, so I've gone to therapy twice in 2 weeks now. I guess I'm trying to figure out what the point of this video is, because I even talked to my therapist about opening up about things that have recently come up and telling my story and me being the narrative of my story, because I feel like for so long I have been so silent about so many different things to please other people that at this point it has felt like a ball and chain my whole freaking life, and that is already so heavy enough on one person. It's a lot to deal with mentally, so almost telling my story how I want to tell it, my narrative, and not feeling so suppressed anymore. And I know I'm being so vague in this video. I know I'm being so vague. I think the only thing that's been holding me back is like once I open that door and talk about everything, the whole world will know. Not necessarily the whole world, because the whole world doesn't watch my videos, but you know what I'm saying, like it will be a known thing, and I guess how to navigate it afterwards. But I also know that it will have some repercussions as well, but I'm at the point that I know what those repercussions will be and I'm okay with them, because like I said, I am so tired of staying silent for so long and feeling this way. That's also what I talked about my therapist at my last appointment, and she asked me if I felt comfortable talking about it and sharing it, and I told her I do. At the same time, once it's out there, it's out there. She also asked me what are my goals with sharing and opening up about certain things, and I basically said to help other people, to help spread awareness, to be relatable, even though it's not a good thing to be relatable about, but just being relatable and hopefully maybe even empowering other people. But it's just a very heavy topic, and I've just been dealing a lot with it mentally, that I feel like I need to be in a better headspace before I completely open up and talk about it. And it will probably have to be in a separate BRIT'S BREW video. I guess the main reason why I wanted to come on and talk to you guys is because I wanted to share my experience with going to therapy again. I should have never stopped, and I've realized that now, because even if there's not anything going on, or even if I feel like I'm fine mentally, there's so many different benefits to going to therapy, and I understand that now. I get that now. And I just also want to encourage anybody else, and I know I've said this many times, I know therapy is not for everyone. I get that. We all have different things that help us. For me, therapy has been so life-changing, and I definitely would not be the person I am today if I did not go to therapy. I can say that 100%, and that's why I'm so grateful for therapy. So my message, I guess, that I want to get out is, if you're able to, I know not everybody's able to physically go to a therapist, but even if it's online, I even have people in my personal life that I know they do their therapy online. That's totally fine too, whatever works for you. But I definitely want to encourage anybody that's struggling or even just thinking about going, let this video be a message to you to take that step to go to therapy if you can, and work on yourself, work on things that you've been harboring, things that happened in the past, happening now, whatever it may be. I would definitely recommend going. And if you've gone through trauma or PTSD or, you know, traumatic events, I would definitely recommend doing EMDR therapy if you can. I've always warned other people though about it, that even though it's very helpful and it's very healing, it can almost make you relive some events. Like, I have relived some very traumatic things that have happened, been bawling my eyes out in therapy, but now coming out on the other side after working through those things, even though it was hard, it was so beneficial because I'm able to put that stuff in a box, not even have any feelings attached to it. If I think about it, it doesn't trigger me, it doesn't cause me anxiousness. It's very neutral. My feelings are very neutral to some things. And it's also helped Frank a lot with his PTSD from being in the fire department. I can't tell you guys enough how much he recommends it. We are working through a lot right now. Frank is still working through his individual stuff from being in the fire department, and traumatic things have happened, and I'm working through stuff that I'm struggling with right now in my own personal life with my family, and processing different emotions and things. So it's definitely been very hard on us right now, and I know you guys are struggling and going through hard times too, and dealing with stuff that's happened to you. I know maybe not on the magnitude of some people, but in a sense can relate to feeling that way, and that's why I want to encourage therapy, because I do strongly believe that it is very beneficial. I just want to say thank you guys for always supporting me, always rooting me on, enjoying these Brit'S Brew videos. If you guys do want to hear, because I always go back and read the comments about certain topics, or you want to have me talk about certain topics or anything, please leave that down below in the comments. But now I'm going to take a breather. I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
As a young girl, the fields were mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows.